Welcome back to Studio 5. So the world would have you thinking that sexy is where it's at, that our goal should be to look sexy, to feel sexy, and to have a sexy relationship. But a value-based woman with the right priorities knows better. In fact, we say today, let's redefine the word altogether. Studio 5 contributor and author Connie Sokol is on board with that idea. In fact, she believes a man is the most attractive when he is meaningful, helpful, and kind. And you have a picture to prove that point.
Oh, baby. My sweet husband was vacuuming with my sweet little Chubbs, who's, you know, almost 2. And they were darling. He's just going, and Chubbs is following him. And they were just going super slow inching. It was darling.
And that kind of redefines this idea of sexy for us today.
Absolutely. I get so tired as I got to have plump, pouty lips, and I got to have like super shiny, you know, skin and beautiful nails. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because what happens when we do these value-based things and focus on those, that's the natural outgrowth. That's the seed bed for this outgrowth of another way of wanting to connect, because there's that fullness that comes from value-based living.
And I don't blame anybody for getting caught up in it, because my heavens, the world is throwing it at us. You talk about the plump lips and the smooth legs. I mean, it's on every commercial that we watch.
Well, I was getting a makeover a couple years ago, and this beautiful eye color, it was fabulous. I could not buy it because the name on it was so inappropriate. It is everywhere. My hairspray is Big Sexy Hair. It's like, what? And our kids, I have a friend who, her daughter at 9 was getting called sexy at school. At 9. So it's funneling down. It's not just for us as women, it's getting into and seeping into our children.
You've kind of taken a tongue-in-cheek, not to lighten the mood too much, but with this approach of this top 10 what sexy really is, right? Kind of focusing it at our men, at our husbands in our lives, and kind of appreciating them in a different way. Sexy is taking the night shift.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, ma'am.
I think, especially for me right now in this stage of life, I'm telling you, it is fabulous when a husband will take the baby and let the wife sleep. And this hands down was huge. In fact, Janine Muldebadsgaard, who says in families who laugh
her a lot.
I love her. She is a hoot. She has a ton of kids. I think, was it 10 that she has? Anyway, she says, I used to love my husband for the way he looked in his basketball uniform. Now I love him for the way he looks in his striped flannel pajamas after being up with a sick baby all night. And that is so true. Their hair is kind of tousled, and they're like, hey, love, and you just want to go, I just love you. Oh, anyway, that's where it's at.
A sexy husband next on your list fixes things, which I say amen to that too.
And you know what? Some men use duct tape, some men make a phone call, totally fine. But when a man is fixing something, a woman feels like, okay, not only are we saving money and it's convenient, but there's something about a man knowing exactly what he needs to do. I've watched my husband, I don't usually get to see him work, but we were building a house and he had his tool belt on and he's fixing this and he's putting this here and he's furrow brown, he's figuring it out, and he's just, these movements are so fluid and he knows exactly what he's doing. You just feel like he's taking care of business.
He's got it. Also, that kind of leads into this male instinct they have to be the protector for us and for our family.
Yes.
That's very attractive.
That is another one. And what's so great is that when a woman feels like he is taking care of that she can be at ease and he is making sure that everything is good for their family. The electricity goes off, the car breaks down. She knows that she can take care of herself, but that's not the point. That he is coming in and he is making sure he's taking care of their family. And I loved it when we went on an anniversary trip to New York a few years ago. I just remember my husband, you know, he's a big guy, he's 6'2", 220 pounds. He's walking down the street and he's just eyeballing everyone like, okay, I got this, she's taken care of. I just loved it, you know, it's like, that's my man, you know.
And we could probably do a better job of complimenting that and building that up in men, because so many, I mean, sitcoms these days and television series, they kind of mock and make fun of men in that role.
And make them inept, that they don't know how to do. And that's not true. We are so different in some ways, and that's such a blessing. I love that he will do that for me, make me feel like I am protected, and how wonderful when women will accept that, when they'll let a man open the door, or let a man do something that she knows she could do herself, but how wonderful to let him do that.
Next on our top 10 truly sexy list, and we're not going in any particular order, but I kind of wanted to highlight this next one.
Oh, yes.
A sexy man does housework.
Oh my gosh, real men do dishes, and this is so true. This was hands down the biggest one. I talked to a lot of women. We post on Facebook, we post on my website, and most of the time the responses were, when they help with housework, not only do I feel like I get a break and I get some energy, but I also feel like he understands my world. He cares about what happens to me. I'm just not this kind of need filler. So this is huge. In fact, one Facebook gal said, my husband is an awesome husband and father. Anything from changing diapers, making food, putting to bed, it doesn't stop there. He is the caps ultimate man. He would go to the ends of the earth to make me and his girls happy. And I love that
too.
Because you feel when they're serving that way, you do feel so seen and so heard.
Can I provide proof of that in my house?
Yes! Yes.
I snapped this photo of Mark. It was a couple months ago. I posted it on Instagram, but I caught him folding laundry and watching ESPN, which to me was the most attractive combination that exists on the world.
That is the ultimate dude. I'm serious, because then you know he is secure within himself.
Yeah.
He can fold laundry and he's still getting a sports fix.
And you
awesome.
talked about how when men contribute to the housework, it also shows that they have an interest in your life, and that's also next on your list, that they support those personal interests of yours even outside of the house.
Yes, and whether it's setting up for a quilt show or watching a chick flick, which you know they'd rather be watching anything else. But they're showing that, hey, I can step into your world and come on, invite me in and I can be there. And same thing when we do it right back. But we're just focusing on this side. But yes, it's wonderful and it's gracious.
You have a video example of this next one. A sexy man plays a musical instrument.
You know what? Hands down, singing, playing the piano, the guitar, could be a ukulele. If you are doing music, you are wooing your woman.
Who's this?
This is my dear friend. I was talking with a group of friends and they said, oh my gosh, absolutely. In fact, I just snapped this video of my husband. He's playing U2. Does it get more manly? U2 on the piano. And you should see the hashtag. It says, he'd kill me if he knew I posted this. It is so adorable. And I got permission. He was so gracious. But isn't that, there's something about that, because again, he's vulnerable, he's humble, he's not trying to be all that in a bag of chips. He's just being himself and caring about his woman.
I love it. We talk about how having a man listen to us and also occasionally, when appropriate, offering good feedback.
That's right. In fact, just this last week, I had an experience where I had been misunderstood, and I just felt really, I was really hurt by it. And he was marvelous. He listened, and then he shared some thoughts and some kind words, and then he just held me, and I was like, that is my man. It was marvelous, and I don't think men understand how much that seed beds that emotion when he just listens and gives feedback of, I'm so sorry, or wow, that must be tough.
On your list, dressing sharp. We can't beat that. A man who serves is also very sexy. And finally, rounding out our top 10, a sexy man helps kids with the homework.
Yes, and I think hands down, each of these things it shows that he cares about those things that matter most. And when a woman sees that, it doesn't matter if he doesn't have a six-pack. If he's doing dishes and he's helping with algebraic equations, he's got it going on.
I love this, Connie. You took a fun approach to it. And David Letterman's retiring, so we need someone to step in with the top
10 with the cards going like this.
The top 10. Thank you so much. We're approaching Easter, and this brings to mind one of my favorite publications that you've written over the years, 40 Days with the Savior.
Yes, and today, because it's really close, we're doing our ebook bundle. And so it's 4 ebooks for $9.99, and you can send them to friends and family that are in other states just to say, hey, I'm thinking of you at Easter. It's a simple daily devotional book on character traits of the Savior. It's wonderful.
It's a beautiful book. It will just have you thinking about your life and your contributions in a different way. Thank you, Connie.
Thanks.
All right, when we